Hi year two at home, and I've got year two in the classroom as well. We are going to start to do our story map today for Playground Rescue, which is a story that Mrs. Cochrane read to you yesterday. So you can read that again before you do this. That I'd maybe pause this video and go to yesterday's clip and just listen to the story again, just so we're a bit more familiar with it, okay? So once you've done that, you come back to this video and we'll go through this. So we need to think of some key points in our story, don't we, year two? We need to be able to create a story map. We don't want everything in the story all down here, do we? We just want some parts of it. So at the first part of it, it was an ordinary day. Jo was on her own in the backyard kicking a ball into the makeshift goal. What could we have for that sentence, do we think? What do you think picture we could do for that there? What do you think we could draw?
A football net and
so we could maybe draw, what was the character called? The first character? Jo Awesome. I mean, I know Mrs. Cochrane isn't very good at drawing, but I do try my best, don't I? So I'm just going to try draw a picture of Jo Awesome. So I might draw her a J, so I know that she's Jo Awesome. Some legs, some arms, and what did she say she was doing? She was kicking a football in a makeshift net that she'd drawn with some stone on a wall. So I might have a net here. So we've got a ball and a football net that she's drawn. Let's have it, and then I'm going to do an arrow for my next part of the story. So the next part of the story that we might have in here, she was dreaming about a time. So we could actually put that in this part when she's dreaming, couldn't we? What could we do? Picture could we do for dreaming, do you think? How
a cloud.
You think a cloud? I was thinking that as well. So like daydreaming, like she's dreaming, isn't she? Oh, sit back, please. Sit further back. Thank you. Let's have a look at the next bit. So we've got her daydreaming of that. And then we've got, let's have a look at, no, you can't see over there, can you? So do you want to come and sit over this way? I don't know what you're doing there. Sit down, please. Just let me just. So the next part was Raja in the story, wasn't it? That was our second character. Can anybody tell me what superpower Raja had? Yes.
He wanted to do like art.
Art was her superpower. Raja is a girl, isn't she? So we need our next character is going to be Raja. I thought it was a boy as well at first in that story, but then it says she, and I'm going to put a R there so I know that this one is also Raja.
Looks like a boy.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Your drawing might be better than Mrs. Cochrane. And it says in the story that she was covered in paint. So I might draw a paint pot, some paint brushes. I mean, I might put a P on there for purple paint as well. So we've got Raja, and was she dreaming? Oh no, she was covered in paint. Okay.
Then eyes.
Who's our next character? So we've got Jo, we've got Raja covered in paint.
Now the dog.
The dog, what was the dog's name now? Yes, Sammy. He had another word though, didn't he? Was it just called Sammy? Yeah. Exceptional. Sammy Exceptional. What was his superpower, anybody? Yeah. Listening, wasn't it? So I might try draw here a dog, and he did have pointy ears on that picture that I saw. I mean, I'm sure your dog pictures will be much better than Mrs. Cochrane's, but
I do not know how to draw dogs.
I know I'm trying my best though. But what was he called? Sammy. So I might write Sammy. So we've got Jo, we've got Raja, and we've got Sammy. And he had enormous ears. So that's why I'm drawing some big ears. So we know he's got enormous ears. Then I'm going to do an arrow to my next part of the story then, aren't I? So we've got, he was asleep in his basket. So we might do him with some snoring away, isn't he? Then the next, we've got our character, oh no. The next part of our story is that they went to the park. So it says here, the local park was ordinary. Children played in the playground whilst adults chatted. So they went to a playground. What could we maybe draw now for our next part of our story, Matt?
A swing. Slide a swing. A roundabout.
I love that idea. Mrs. Cochrane is just going to draw a slide because I don't want to have too many pictures on my story map. So I'm going to just draw a slide. I mean, it's not the best, but I know it's a slide. So as long as I know that that's a slide, and there were grown-ups, I might do some grown-ups, a few grown-ups that are at the park and they're all chatting. So that's the next part of our story. So they're at the park, the grown-ups are chatting. Then what happened? Can anybody remember what happened? Well, so at the park somebody shouted something. Can you remember what word they shouted? Yes. Help! 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 So that's what I might just write the word here, help, in a speech bubble. So we know it's somebody shouting help, and I might do an explanation mark because that means that somebody's shouting, or it means. Yeah, and I'm going to do another arrow here. So that's the help part of the story. So we've got now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures for our thing. Then it says Joe's legs began to tingle. Raja's drawing pulled her towards a brush, and Sammy woke up. They got on their superpower boosters. So do we think we need to draw these 3 characters again?
Yeah.
But not separately? Should we draw them together? So we could put here a picture of them all together too. So I've got 2 people. That's Joe, that's Raja, and then I'm going to have my dog here, which is Sammy. So they've got on their superpowers, and I might do like some dash of lightning to make sure they're getting somewhere really fast. That means they're swooshing there, getting there more quickly. They arrived at the park. So then they've got to the park, haven't they? Follow me! As Raja and Joe reached the edge of the playground, they could see that the crowd had gathered at the bottom of the spider's web, which is like a climbing frame. What could we do for that part of the story? They get there and there's a crowd there at the park at the bottom of the spider web. What image do you think we could create for that part of the story? Yes.
Like a spider web and a spider.
Spider web, yes. So like a spider web climbing frame we could draw here. I'll draw this is just not, it doesn't look too bad. I know, not too bad. It's not, great, but that's my spiderweb climbing frame. Yours will be much better than this because I know how amazing you all are at art, unlike Mrs. Cochrane. So all the grown-ups are at the bottom of the spider web and they are wanting somebody to help. So the grown-ups are here at the bottom. And can anybody remember what was at the top of the spider web?
A child. A child.
A child, yeah. And is the child okay?
No.
No, the child is stuck, isn't it? So do you think we should draw a child that's stuck here? I'll just draw a child so we can see that it's in the spider's web and it's stuck. So then Joe gets, so quick as a flash, Raja painted a mini trampoline. So we could draw a mini trampoline. So this is how they free free this child. Joe paints a mini trampoline. Then what happens after they paint a trampoline?
They jump on.
Who jumps on it though? Who jumps?
That child.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look who jumps. Joe used a bounce up and over the crowd and grabbed the child. So we know that it's Joe that jumps on the trampoline. So I'm going to write Joe. I'm going to just put a J there. You can change it to how you want it. Joe jumps on the trampoline to save the child that is in the spider web. Grabs the child and the crowd whoops. Joe raced home while Raja flew to her house on the flying carpet. Joe returned to ordinary, so they all then go back home. So they've saved the child and then they all go back. Maybe we could have here them with capes on because they're superheroes. They've changed from normal people into superheroes, so maybe we could put some capes on them for this part.
And that.
Yeah, so this part she's got the cape on, hasn't she? And then when they've gone back to ordinary, we could do a picture of their house because they've gone back home to their house, haven't they, all of them? So I'm just going to do a house. They get back home. Oh, that house has got a triangle window. They've gone back home, all three of them, and they have gone back to normal. So they've changed from superheroes. So they've gone from normal people to superheroes. They've gone to the park where grown-ups were chatting. The grown-ups were shouting help. There was a child stuck in the trampoline. Joe used her superpowers to get onto the trampoline. Raja painted the trampoline, and then Joe jumped on it, saved the child, and brought them back. So this story is called Playground Rescue, and that is our story map. So what will happen is, so I'll hold this here and the people at home can pause that, but I know that you at home and you children in the classroom will be able to create a much better story map than Mrs. Cockram has. I've just wanted to pick out the key points of the story, and then we can create our own story map, and then we're going to learn the actions as well. Oh, could you all sit down please for me? Thank you. So that is what you're going to do as your next job. You're going to create your own story map, and then Mrs. Cockram's going to come up with some actions next week, and we're going to share them. Okay, I'm going to share them on the video, so you children in the classroom, you'll get to see them as well, and the children at home will get to see them too. But our first job that you're going to be doing is going to be making your own story map of this story, which is picking out key points. We don't do a picture for every single sentence, do we? We just do it for a few sentences. Does that sound good? Yeah? Are you all up for that challenge? Amazing. Right. Thank you everybody at home for watching, and I'm sure you'll be able to get your children to draw some, no, sit down please, to draw some fantastic pictures to go with their story maps. I'm not the best at art, but it doesn't matter. It's as long as the children know what each picture in that story map represents, as long as they can explain it. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the piece of paper. It's just so they can then use those pictures to be able to retell the story. So the idea is that then they know the story off by heart, and the more they use the story map, and then we'll use the actions, they will become more familiar with the story. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye.